Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Radio Broadcasting Network, 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sport. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Connect, and Building Solid Foundation.
Welcome back. This is Martha Razo, your host with the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. Well, we were left off and we mentioned a few suggestions from Marie of what we do in real estate if recession were coming. I actually have a follow-up question with that conversation. Should people be buying or selling their properties right now? What is your idea on that question, Marie?
It will depend again on where they're at location wise. I know that for where I am right now, currently in San Diego. San Diego is a hot market. San Diego is actually almost like the time when San Francisco was in 1990. So if anybody is looking at what San Francisco is right now, you have to look at when it was in 1990 and where it's going to go in terms of appreciation for San Diego. So for San Diego, I think it's always good to buy real estate because of all the projects that are coming in with all the military projects, with all the biotech companies that are coming in. It's amazing what's happening in San Diego now. In other areas, you have to watch out in terms of your capital. If you don't have enough capital to invest and to manage a rental or investment properties, you have to really understand that there's going to be a down market. And I think it is smart to buy when the market is in the low recession. And when that happens, that's when you need to go in. I remember in the 2008, I was working with a lot of investors. Actually, most of them are coming from, China, and they were investing cash money during the 2008, 2009, and 10. I mean, that's when the market was hitting bottom. And there were so many properties that were so incredibly good in terms of, the price. So they did a really good job in investing. And what they do is they actually sell after 7 years. And that's kind of like their, trend of buying and selling properties. But again, you have to understand what your ability in terms of your financing and capital for investing, and you need to understand the timing of doing it. And I think working with you, Martha, it will give them a better understanding of where they need to do it or when they need to do it, depending on the economic information that you provide.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that comes from actually forecasting. Yeah. Forecasting is very powerful. And yes, forecasting will tell you the future, but it won't, it's not like I'm what is it? Those people that see the future? A wizard. I'm not a wizard. I can't tell the future. But if you start forecasting the future, then you have more idea. So just a very simple example. If I know I'm making 100,000 on profits every month, then what does that mean in a year? That's 100,000 times 12, that's 1.2 million, right? 1.2 million. So if you understand or aware that you'll be making 1.2 million in 12 months, then you can start making strategies. Then if, for example, if your plan is to buy a property, then you know that you will have that in 1 year. So then you now have a decision that you didn't know you had. Either I finance it or I wait for the year to buy that property. Let's say you're looking to buy commercial property. You know that from your own funds, it's a year. But from financing, I mean, maybe 30 days or 45 days if you do it through a bank. If you do it through a private lender, it's just a matter of a few weeks, sometimes days, but it all depends on how you qualify. From my point of view and my suggestions from a business perspective is I would take financing and I will save my 1.2 million, because in a rainy day like a recession, I want to keep my 1.2 million and work using someone else's money, but just make sure that you're careful and that you allocate it in something that's going to generate that money back, and you're going to make a huge profit to pay the interest rate, and then make profit to invest in another project, whether that's internally in your business, real estate, stock markets, anything. Do you get me? So that's what forecasting really allows you to do. See the future and start planning for that future. And now you have decisions, you have choices, and that's what a strategy is. And you cannot create a strategy without foreseeing what's happening. How much money are you bringing in? How much money are you probably losing by making a choice? So these are very important. Again, the fundamental is understanding your numbers and start forecasting. So I promised you that I would touch one of my favorite industries, the manufacturing. So I'm a CEO for a pallet company. So anyone heard of pallets? They move the world, okay, everyone? Have you seen them at Costco or Walmart? Those are the wood pieces that have all the boxes on top of them. Well, we have a 2.75 acre land full of pallets, over 30,000 pallets in there. So in an industry like that, manufacturing, when you're dealing with product base, this is my suggestion. And this is what I'm doing. So this is not something that I'm just saying out of the blue. In my strategic point of view is I don't know where the market is going. I don't know if the products are going to go up or go down, but I'd rather play it safe. So what I make sure is most likely prices will drop a little. I don't know how little, but they're going to drop in terms of the pallets. So what I'm going to do is if in 2 weeks I cannot sell that product, I'm not holding extra inventory. So I made sure that in my business strategy, if I have over 6 loads, that translates to about 3,000 pallets of my 3 top sellers, I'm not holding more than 6,000. So I'm making sure that I'm keeping inventory. So I am very precise with my numbers. So I keep inventory every day. Every day I know what's in my plant. So it can be a little bit over controlling, but this is your baby. This is your business. So I suggest if you're product based, know exactly what you have in your warehouse, what you have in your restaurant, what you have in inventory. Because more than ever, we're going into a recession. You don't want to hold inventory that's expensive. And this recession happens, and then you're forced to sell and lose. You get me? That's very problematic. You have invested on inventory that's basically going to be given away, or you're going to be losing. So understand that. Understand your turnaround. But again, I'm not saying don't freak out. Don't try to sell everything at where you're making zero profit. Just be aware that you don't want to overhold inventory. On that point, remember I told you, okay, look at your profit and loss, but just don't look at your sales and inventory. There are other key numbers. So when I talk about this inventory, you need to understand your break-even point. I constantly like hammer people on this, because if you know your break-even point, you know your selling point, then you're never giving your product away. I am sure that a lot of listeners out there have not raised their price. And if you haven't, why? There are so many things that just happened recently in the economy, especially here in Chicago. I know that the minimum wage increased in July. Gas prices are crazy. So if you haven't raised your prices, you're going to have to. I mean, of course, don't bulge on people and try to, increase so much, but be reasonable to yourself. Don't be losing money. Raise enough so you're at the same profit margins. If that was 15, don't cut yourself to 12%, make the 15. But really make sure that you're thinking about this. I'm not saying go ahead and raise them right away, but really be strategic. So Marie, this is something that I want to discuss with you. And you are like the queen of this, the queen of building, networking, and creating relationships. Let's talk about that. How do you go about building relationships? Because I actually heard that even during a crisis, I think it was in 2008 or when this happened, you were doing more business than ever. So can you talk to us about more about building relationships and also being proactive in terms of this recession?
Yeah, there's so many ways that you can build your network. First is you have to be involved with a lot of community organizations because people love to help the community and you want to be a part of that. Or if you are not, create one, which is what I did in 2008. I actually opened up a nonprofit organization called the Inland Valley Business and Community Foundation. And what we did is we put together a business expo. And that's how we were able to promote a lot of the people in the community. And by having a business expo, you actually get to know people and you build that level of trust. And when you start connecting and getting to know each other, that's how you start collaborating. Part of it is you need to learn how to collaborate. How do you collaborate with people that you know? You have to figure out what is their business. You need to learn what they do and how they serve the community or how they serve their clients. If you understand what they do, you'll be able to work with them in a sense that it's a win-win situation. Okay, you have to be coming into a collaborative relationship where there is a lot of knowledge coming from you to promote the other person and to help them with their business, not just on your own for your own sake, but for their own sake also. And that's how you work on a collaboration business. And when you do that and you're good at it, you understand that your network is going to double, triple, because these people are going to appreciate what you have done for them. And they are going to give you a lot of gifts, a lot of blessings, a lot of referrals. And that's how it works.
Yeah, in any business, you're in the people business. You are constantly working. And it's funny because as business owners, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm the boss. No, we actually work for somebody. We work for our clients. So it's a people business.
Yes.
So everyone works for somebody. So I don't know if everyone's like paying attention, but you should, because me and Marie, basically, if we were to write a book, it's done. It's done on how to prepare for a recession. If you heard everything we said, I'm going to summarize it because everything is very important. So I want to make sure everyone understands and takes notes. The first thing, and Marie touched base on this, it's smart to buy homes when it's the low recession. So when the recession looks like it's at its lowest, that's when you want to buy. You have to know your numbers in your business. So this is your break-even price, your forecasting, looking at them on a monthly basis. Marie also mentioned timing. So you need to understand the timing, when to buy and when to sell. And in order to understand that, again, it goes back to the numbers. Know your break-even price. And what's important, she just touched it right now, the power of collaborations. You have to collaborate and you have to be marketing. Even when the times seem to be at its lowest, you have to keep marketing. You have to keep hustling because everyone, what they're doing is probably sitting down and crying. No, it's not the end. You have to just plan and not freak out, because if you do all these things, look at your numbers, keep collaborating, keep marketing, you're going to be at the top and you're going to be prepared. But it's not just doing it, it's creating a strategy and timing all of this correctly. So we're going to go off to a commercial. We still have a bunch of information to discuss. This is so valuable. So if there was a button to forward and share, you should be doing that. I don't know if there's such a thing, but this can basically make or break your business, this conversation. And you should expand it and keep having it with other partners and other business owners, because the most important thing is to be prepared, because the recession will have an end, but the winners are the ones who are prepared. So we're going off to a short commercial. Once again, this is your host, Martha Razo, with The Fabulous Lifestyle. We will be back.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Radio Broadcasting Network, 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Connect, and Building Solid Foundation.